if you're listening to me right now and you are saying to yourself, okay, I got to listen to this because I know morning routines are important. I see it all over the place and I got to get a morning routine. And so I'm going to listen. I'm going to figure this out. Even if you don't think you have a morning routine right now, you do. Hitting the snooze button 5 times in the morning, that's a morning routine. Reaching for your phone first thing and laying there and scrolling through social media for 45 minutes, that's a morning routine. Rolling over and putting the pillow back over your head, that's a morning routine. The thing that you do right now in the morning, every single morning, whether it's working for you or not, that's your routine. And what we're going to confront today together is it actually working for you? Are you working against the science or are you working with it? Are you following the steps that could set you up for success, or are you just kind of doing what you've always done and then you beat yourself up because it's not creating better results? And so first things first, accept that whatever it is that you're doing, you wake up, you're hungover, you're just devastated with anxiety, you hit the snooze, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, hit the snooze, and then it's an emergency, and then you rocket out of bed, and then you're racing around, and then you're late, and then you're racing out the door, and you didn't have breakfast, and you didn't exercise, and you left the house without your wallet. That used to be me. And that can become a routine. And the good news is you can change it. And that's why this matters. And so now that we're on the same page, and now that we've kind of gotten rid of the story about where you're at or whether or not you already have this handled, now I want to jump into some facts, okay? If you're the kind of person like my husband who can just spring out of bed, I just want to say, you won the lottery. Congratulations. You don't need to rub it in. But it's really important for you to hear what I'm about to share with you, because I think it'll give you more compassion and understanding around the people in your life who can't just spring out of bed. And it will also help you understand how to better support them. Now, you may be working a late shift, which means you don't actually have the same schedule as anyone else. When I was a young lawyer just out of law school, I used to work the night shift in court. It was so discombobulating. I mean, you're not even a morning person because you're really like stopping work in the morning. Here's a second reason, and this one's very interesting. If you're retired, or you're a new empty nester, or your routine is out of whack, check this out. There's research around this. University of Wisconsin study said that when people transition to retirement, they often start sleeping longer, and they go to bed later, and they wake up later. And this may be a reason why it's harder for you to get out of bed right now, because your routine is out of whack because your life just changed. Another reason, maybe you have really amazing sheets. I mean, this is a problem for me. Like, I truly invested in smooth, cozy bamboo sheets. The bed's too nice. Like, that's part of the problem. Like, why would you want to get out of bed? And I mean that truly. I found this fourth reason to be super interesting. Genetics. This is from a study published in Nature Communications. There are 351 genetic markers linked to being a morning person. And a recent study that was published in Genome Biology and Evolution said that morning people, those of you who can just spring out of bed like my husband, that's an inherited trait from Neanderthal ancestors. That's kind of cool. Probably because if you slept in, some sort of saber-toothed tiger would be gnawing on your rear end before you woke up. And here's one more study that I found. This one from Harvard Medical School. So if you think about your circadian rhythm, which is basically that sort of 24-hour program that runs in the background, that truly runs your entire body functioning, okay? And it's tied to your ability to sleep and so many other things. Your circadian rhythm is generated by your internal biological clock. And according to Harvard Medical School, that internal biological clock, it varies from person to person. But the good news is there are things that you can do, even though your internal biological clock is personal to you. There are things that you can do to optimize it, and you're going to learn about it today. Some of us have a predisposition to spring out of bed like my husband, and some of us have a predisposition to be like a hunk of meat laying there marinating in the morning like I do. Good to know. No reason to make yourself wrong then, right? You got to work with what you have. Here's the fifth reason. And this one really rang true for me: trauma. See, trauma and past trauma, it activates a freeze response in your body. And the University of Arkansas did a study about this. And they found that when you've experienced a traumatic event, it can disrupt your sleep. And PTSD, what they've found in the research is that PTSD is linked to you having sleep issues. And what happens when you don't get a good night's sleep? Like, you can't truly drop into deep sleep. You wake up and you're exhausted. And you're exhausted not because you're not a morning person. You're exhausted because past trauma is preventing you from getting a good night's sleep. And when you wake up and you're exhausted because you didn't sleep well, what do you want to do? You want to go back to sleep. You feel even heavier. That's why it's hard to get out of bed. And for me, connecting the way that I felt in the morning to past traumatic experiences was liberating, because I realized, oh, wait a minute, this isn't a deficiency. This is just something that I need to heal. And when I understand, oh, there it is again, I'm waking up in the morning in a freeze response, I'm just going to push through it. That is empowering. The sixth reason, and this so many of you and your kids are experiencing right now, and that's anxiety. Anxiety is the highest for a lot of people first thing in the morning. And one of the reasons why is, and we're going to dig into this when we get into the research around the 6 steps that you're going to take and how I'm going to teach you to work with the science and work with the natural wiring of your body. Anxiety can be higher in the morning for a simple reason. Cortisol, which is a stress hormone, or a lot of people call it an energy hormone. Cortisol is highest in the morning because cortisol helps you wake up. That's why it's there. But the problem is, if cortisol remains elevated, you're going to feel more anxious. And this isn't just your friend Mel Robbins, who has a history with anxiety, telling you this. This is the research. Like, if your energy and stress hormone is super elevated first thing in the morning, of course you're going to feel anxious. But if you don't take steps to start to lower it and regulate it, your anxiety is going to be humming all day long. And if you've ever woken up and the first thing that you feel is anxious and your mind starts spinning and your heart is racing, you don't want to face the day. You want to hide from it. And that's what I did for years. That's why I was hitting the snooze button. And there's 2 other reasons why your anxiety might be higher in the morning. Drinking. So if you have been drinking the night before, guess what? One of the number 1 symptoms of a hangover, anxiety. Because as your body is processing the alcohol overnight, your blood sugar is dropping and your anxiety is now spiking. And so if you're waking up for anxiety, ask yourself, did I drink last night? Okay, bingo. And the third reason why anxiety can be higher in the morning is because your blood sugar levels are often lower in the morning, and that can lead to morning anxiety. And so this is super important, because when your blood sugar drops and your body then tries to bring it up, what it's doing is it's pumping adrenaline into your body, which then what? Stimulates fight or flight, which what? Makes you feel more anxious. I have woken up and felt anxiety is the first thing I've felt in my body since I was 15 years old. Like, this is like my alarm clock in the morning. I would wake up, oh, there's the anxiety. I had no idea that drinking was part of the problem. And the anxiety was present because my body is now processing alcohol while I'm sleeping. I had no idea of the stored trauma, which also is why I was waking up in a freeze and fight or flight response. I had no idea about the blood sugar dropping, and I had no idea that cortisol levels are the highest first thing in the morning. I just felt like I was damaged goods that was going to feel this way for the rest of my life. And when you understand what's happening in your body and you realize it's not you, this can be explained. And when you understand it, to me, it makes me more motivated to want to take the steps that are going to help me face it and quiet it and experience life differently. And that's what's available to you. That's what's available to the people that you love when you understand this and you follow the 6 things I'm going to tell you. And the 7th reason why so many of you do not consider yourself a morning person is because of depression. Do you know that based on the research, 75% of people that have depression have a hard time getting out of bed. Why? Well, one of the reasons why is because depression just covers you with this kind of sense of heaviness, this real dark cloud. My husband had about a very, very serious depression. It's very scary when it happens. And one of the big problems with depression is that your depression lies to you and it makes you feel like you can't do the things that alleviate the depression. And lying in bed, I'm sure you've probably heard the term bed rotting, right? Where you just lay in bed and you think about your problems and you let the heaviness take over. It is an extraordinarily common symptom of mood disorders like depression. This comes from a study out of Emory University. And look, if you have been just burning the candle at both ends and you're tired, like I have. Like I've been super tired this week and I didn't even set an alarm. I just allowed myself to sleep as long as I needed to sleep and then wake up when I want to wake up. And 2 mornings ago, I just kind of laid in bed for about 20 minutes until I was ready to get out of bed. That's okay every once in a while because you're just getting the rest that you need. But if you chronically are laying in bed and you're just ruminating on what's wrong with your life, that's a huge problem. And the 6 steps that you're about to learn are going to help you feel better. And I promise you, the coolest thing about learning how to get up and get going is that the movement and the rhythm of your routine actually snaps you out of these 7 things that I just listed that validate why it's been so hard for you. So let's settle the debate once and for all. Is it true that some of us are just not morning people and never will be? If you don't consider yourself a morning person, or you just find it's hard to create and stick to a good morning routine, well, your friend Mel, I got the answers. I have dug into the science. I have so much amazing news to share with you.